Hey there, it's me Eden. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe to my channel and visit my Patreon page for early access, link in the description. Margaret began cleansing his face, wiping away the remnants of the previous night's makeup. Her tone made it clear this wasn't a suggestion but a lesson. You have a lot to learn, and lesson number 1 is taking off your makeup at the end of the day. She worked the cleansing lotion into his skin as he lay back in the bath, letting her take control. Maybe he had misjudged her after all. So, what was that girly name they gave you at the beer cellar? She asked. He hesitated, then answered, Maria. My name is Maria. Margaret repeated the name several times, testing how it sounded aloud. Finally, she shook her head. I don't see you as a Maria. It might work for your job, but not for me, sweetie. I'll come up with something more fitting for what I have planned. She placed a small bowl beside the bath. Now, put your hands in here, this will take off those nails. As he let his fingers soak, he realized that whatever her intentions were, they weren't what he had initially feared. Margaret sat back, considering something, then suddenly exclaimed, Suzette. That's it. From now on, you'll be Suzette Andrews. She beamed at her choice. My best friend in school was named Suzette. You're in good company, girl. With that decided, she handed him a thick pink towel. Come on, out you get. Wrapping the towel around him girl fashion, she led him back into the lounge. Mark began toweling himself off, watching her carefully. Margaret, what exactly are you planning today? She folded her arms, studying him. Suzette, you have a short memory, my girl. You're going to be my sissy boyfriend, in case you'd forgotten. He flinched at the name but let it go. Instead, he secured the towel around his waist and asked again, Margaret, why are you doing this? She stood, walked over, and yanked the towel from his waist, rewrapping it above his chest. Suzette, you're a girl now. Kindly remember to cover your modesty, sweetie. Frustrated, he asked again, why are you doing this? Margaret sighed, shaking her head. Too many questions. Now, if you're dry, go shave. I've left a razor in the bathroom for you, and I suggest you use it. I'll be in the bedroom getting your things ready. She turned toward the bedroom, then paused. Oh, and pick a perfume. I have quite a selection for you to choose from. As she disappeared into the other room, he realized for the first time just how much larger her flat was compared to his own. In the bathroom, he lathered up and started shaving. He knew it had to be a close one. Margaret popped her head in. Come on, slow coach. We haven't got all day, you know. Once he was finished, she led him into the bedroom. Under normal circumstances, stepping into a woman's room like this would have been a dream scenario. But this fantasy wasn't his to enjoy. Laid out neatly on the bed was a delicate set of lacy pink lingerie. The undergarments were adorned with intricate lace trim, designed to make the wearer feel utterly feminine. Margaret held up the pieces. I take it you know how this goes on? He hesitated before taking the underwear from her. Doing his best to slip it on, he struggled with the delicate straps until she stepped in to adjust them. She handed him the matching bottoms, smiling. That's a nice scent you've chosen. Next came a pair of sheer nylon hold-up stockings, which she carefully unwrapped from their packaging. Be careful, Suzette. These nylons are so thin, and I don't have a spare pair right now. He nodded and rolled the stockings up his legs, securing them neatly against his thighs. Margaret watched approvingly. You're quite the professional at this, she teased. From there, the transformation continued, following a routine he was now somewhat familiar with from his time at the beer cellar. Seated at the dressing table, he sat still as Margaret worked her magic, showcasing her skill with makeup. Applying false eyelashes was a new experience for him, and he struggled against the strange sensation. With no wig available, Margaret did her best to style his natural hair. She sprayed it heavily, coaxing it into a more feminine shape, finally securing it into a short ponytail with a pink hairband. She took a step back, admiring her work. "There," she said, satisfied. "Now that's more like it." As Margaret applied nail polish to his fingers, he glanced around the room, searching for clues about what else she had planned for him to wear. "Sit still and let the polish dry," she instructed. "And none of that waving your hands or blowing on the nails. Just be patient and I'll get your clothes ready." She left the bedroom, and he sat at the dressing table, staring at his freshly painted, pink-hued nails. The clock on the dresser read 11 o'clock. Closing his eyes, he willed himself to wake up from this surreal dream, but when he opened them, reality greeted him in the form of a candy-pink skirt suit hanging before him. It was nearly the same shade as the raincoat and shoes he had been given earlier. The fitted jacket cinched at the waist, adorned with large, shiny white buttons for contrast. The skirt was so short that he suspected the jacket might completely obscure it. Running through the fabric was a fine hint of white thread, adding subtle texture. Margaret beamed as she lifted the suit from its hanger. "Do you know what kind of jacket and skirt this is, Suzette?" He shook his head. To him, it was just another piece of women's clothing, though its woven texture reminded him of the tweed outfits his mother used to wear. "It's called boucle. Here, touch it, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Just one of the many things we girls know about. And the color suits you perfectly, Suzette. When I saw you in that raincoat this morning, I could hardly believe how similar our tastes are." She handed him a delicate silk V-neck vest top in an ivory shade. He hesitated before pulling it over his underwear. Next, Margaret held out the skirt. "Step in," she encouraged. He obeyed, and she zipped it up, tucking the vest neatly into the waistband before helping him slip into the jacket. He ran his fingers down the short skirt, then brushed the sleeve of the jacket. Its beaded texture felt oddly luxurious. Margaret's excitement grew as she knelt to fasten the buckle-strap pink shoes onto his feet. Once they were secured, she accessorized him with a set of pearl clip-on earrings and a single matching string necklace. "You really should get your ears pierced," she mused. "We'll find a place for that today. These are the only clip-ons I have." The final additions to his ensemble were a small white patent handbag and a pair of white leather gloves. Inside the handbag, Margaret had thoughtfully placed a powder compact, lipstick, and body spray. As an afterthought, she added some paper handkerchiefs and two small, tube-like items. "What are these?" he asked, eyeing them warily. She giggled. "Tampons, sweetie. A girl should always be prepared." He stared in disbelief at the contents of his handbag as Margaret continued her instructions. "You carry your handbag by the handles, like a proper lady should. And don't wear the gloves unless it gets cold, we need to show off your pretty nails. Now, let's have a proper look at you." Arguing was useless. Resigned to his fate, he stood before the mirror. The reflection staring back at him was a vision in candy pink. His skirt was alarmingly short, the fitted jacket accentuating his upper body, and the flimsy vest barely visible beneath the lapels. His lipstick and nail polish were perfectly matched to his suit, and even the silver buckles on his pink heels sparkled under the light. Margaret clapped her hands together, delighted. "There. What do you think, Suzette? Pink is definitely your color, don't you agree?" Before he could answer, she led him into the lounge and handed him a glossy fashion magazine. "Catch up on some real girl reading while I get ready. There's fresh coffee in the kitchen, but be careful not to spill it on your new suit." "I won't be long." And remember, knees together when you sit, my girl. Setting his handbag, gloves, and the magazine on the couch, he walked into the kitchen. The tiled floor made his heels click loudly, a constant reminder of his address. The skirt's tight fit forced him to take smaller steps, and he felt the smooth nylon lining glide against his stocking-clad legs with each movement. Pouring himself a cup of coffee, he cautiously took a sip, wiping away the lipstick mark left on the rim. After each sip, he checked his jacket and skirt for any spills. For reasons he couldn't quite explain, he lifted his legs slightly, tilting his foot into the sunlight streaming through the window. The way his stockings shimmered in the light had an odd effect on him. He shifted his leg, fascinated by how the gloss caught different angles. Even the shine of his pink high heels mesmerized him, stirring feelings of confusion. His thoughts were interrupted as Margaret entered the kitchen, now dressed in denim jeans, a dark red t-shirt, flat shoes, and a black leather jacket. Her minimal makeup consisted of only a hint of clear lip gloss. "Well, how do I look?" she asked. He frowned, suddenly feeling absurdly overdressed in comparison. "Aren't I a bit much?" he asked hesitantly. Margaret laughed, giving him a hug. "Oh, Suzette. I knew you'd say that. You look just the way I want my sissy boyfriend to look on her first shopping trip. I, on the other hand, am dressed practically, it's my weekend off, and I wear skirts all week at work." "Shopping?" he echoed in disbelief. "Of course. One little skirt suit won't last you all season, sweetie. And you're at least 2 sizes larger than me, so you won't be borrowing my wardrobe." He looked down at himself. This suit was a gift? Yes, but from now on, you'll be buying your own things. No more presents until you earn them. Before he could object, she continued, "You'll need more skirts, a mix-and-match jacket, some tops, high heels, lingerie, maybe a party dress in case we get invited somewhere nice. And a pair of girls' trousers, you'll find them quite different from those boring boy ones you're used to. I suppose I could lend you a handbag or two. But I'm broke." "We'll get you a store card," she said breezily. "That should cover everything we need for your basics. Won't that be fun?" "But I don't have ID. They won't just hand me a credit card." Margaret took his coffee cup from him, setting it aside before hugging him again. "Oh, I could kiss you right now, sissy boy. I take it you do have some form of identification?" He gestured at himself. "But I'm dressed like a girl." Margaret sighed, exasperated. "I hope you won't be this difficult all day, Suzette. It's simple, you show them ID, give your name and address, and they check if you're a good credit risk. I doubt they'll care that you're a sissy." She motioned for him to grab his gloves and handbag. "Carry it properly, by the handles, not slung over your shoulder." Too tired to argue, he picked up the bag, realizing the handles were too short to wear any other way. As he adjusted his grip, Margaret pointed toward the lounge. "Shouldn't you take your other things back to your flat?" He had forgotten about the pink raincoat he had borrowed from Patricia Crawford and the black PVC dress lying in the corner. "Didn't you say you borrowed that coat, Suzette?" "Yes." "Bring it. We'll drop it off on the way into town. I can't let them see me dressed like this." Margaret burst into laughter. "Why not? It's far more reserved than what you arrived in this morning." Stepping outside, the cool morning breeze teased his stockinged legs. Margaret let out a playful wolf whistle. "Come on, Suzette, use that feminine charm to hail us a cab." Please subscribe my channel for the next part. And visit my Patreon page for early access.